Thoughts are the silent architects of destiny. They move before actions, exist before results, and rule before reality bends itself into form. Every achievement, failure, dream, fear, or limitation begins first in the unseen world within the mind. What you think repeatedly, you eventually become. What you hold in focus, your life slowly mirrors. The mind is not just a place of ideas. It is the engine that drives everything you will ever do, create, or become. When you command your thoughts stop being random passengers in a runaway vehicle. They become your soldiers, your servants, your tools. You no longer live by accident, you live by design. You stop reacting to life and you begin shaping it. Every thought becomes intentional, every choice becomes purposeful, and every day becomes a building block toward the future you desire. Most people think thought is automatic, uncontrollable, something that happens to us. But the truth is that thought can be steered, disciplined, trained, like a wild horse that becomes a race champion when mastered by a skilled rider. Without direction, thoughts scatter. With direction, they cut through the universe like a blade. Human potential is not limited by strength, resources, or opportunity. It is limited by the mind that uses them. Where the mind stops, the world stops. Where the mind expands, life expands. If you think weak, you act weak. If you think powerfully, you rise powerfully. If you think with clarity, your path becomes clear. A seed planted in the mind becomes a tree in reality. A tiny belief becomes a lifelong story. A single focused thought becomes a lifetime of outcomes. That is why commanding your thoughts is equal to commanding your life. Your thoughts are orders. Your mind is the general. Your decisions are the army. Your reality is the battlefield where results appear. The problem is, most people let their minds run like an untrained wild beast. Thoughts run everywhere. One moment hope, next moment delay. They never command, they only follow. They never choose, they drift. They never think, they replay. And then they wonder why life feels chaotic, why nothing changes, why success stays distant. A mind without command is a life without direction. A mind without discipline is a life without power. Command your thoughts. Do not let them lead you, lead them. You cannot stop birds from flying over your head, but you can stop them from building a nest in your mind. Negative thoughts may knock, but never let them stay. A powerful life begins with powerful thinking. A powerful mind begins with powerful awareness. The moment you understand that every thought is a choice, you awaken. You rise from being controlled by your mind to becoming the controller of it. You stop allowing old memories to dictate your present. You stop letting fears write your future. You stop letting weakness speak louder than strength. You become the director of your mental cinema. When negative thoughts appear, you command, "No, not here, not anymore." When doubt whispers, you respond, "You do not own me." When fear approaches, you stand tall and say, "I choose courage," because your mind listens to you more than it listens to anything else. Your thoughts obey the voice you use consistently. If you speak like a victim, your thoughts become slaves. If you speak like a leader, your thoughts become warriors. You must learn to command your thoughts like a king commands his kingdom. A king does not ask his soldiers to move, he commands. A king does not beg for obedience, he expects it. A king does not surrender to chaos. He builds order. Your mind is the first kingdom you ever rule. Before you influence the world, before you change people, before you build success, you must conquer yourself. And the strongest warrior is not the one who defeats others, but the one who defeats the weakness inside himself. Most people spend their lives being ruled by the noise inside their head. They are dragged by anxiety, pushed by fear, chained by doubt. They wait for courage instead of commanding courage. They wait for clarity instead of creating clarity. They wait for life to be kind before they become strong, not knowing that life bows only for the strong. A slave mind whispers, "I cannot." A king mind declares, "Watch me." You must decide which voice will build your future. The first lesson, your thoughts are not you. A thought is a visitor, it arrives and it leaves. But people let visitors rule their house. If fear knocks, they open the door. If doubt speaks, they listen. If failure memories appear, they set a table and feed them. You must learn to watch your thoughts like clouds in your sky, not commands in your life. A thought only gains power when you bow to it. Stand and thoughts bow to you. Kneel and thoughts become your masters. The one who controls the inner dialogue becomes unbreakable. The second lesson: the mind obeys repetition. What you repeat becomes your reality. Speak weakness long enough and strength will leave you. Speak power long enough and power becomes your identity. Repeat these commands daily. I rule my mind. My thoughts obey me. I choose power over fear. I walk as king over my inner world. Nothing controls me. I command my life. You become what you confess. The third lesson: self-discipline is your sword. No kingdom survives without law. No mind becomes powerful without discipline. Discipline is the sword that cuts excuses. A king is not free because he does what he wants. He is free because he refuses what weakens him. Discipline is a battle between who you are and who you could be. Every time you win, you evolve. Every time you lose, you shrink. If you wake up when it's hard, you grow. If you speak courage when afraid, you rise. If you continue when tired, you conquer. Discipline is the bridge between chaos and greatness. The fourth lesson: thoughts create emotion. Emotion creates action. Behind every success is a thought. Behind every failure is also a thought. Before the athlete runs, he thinks victory. Before the writer writes, she thinks visions. Before the weak man quits, he thinks defeat. Thought, emotion, action result life. Change the first link and the entire chain transforms. A king does not wait for motivation. He commands thought, and motivation follows. A warrior does not wait for courage. He commands thought, and courage is born. You speak power long enough, power becomes your nature. This is the beginning of mastery. Mind is your servant, not your master. A mind without command is like a wild horse, powerful but dangerous, filled with energy but lacking direction, capable of great distances yet easily startled by shadows. Most people live their lives trying to outrun their own thoughts, never realizing they were meant to ride them, not run from them. You are not meant to chase peace, you are meant to create it. You are not meant to look for clarity, you are meant to decide it. You are not meant to wait for strength, you are meant to generate it. The mind becomes a weapon only when mastered. The unruled kingdom. Imagine a kingdom without a ruler. Gates open, walls unguarded. Anyone walks in: thieves, invaders, chaos. No structure, no discipline, no control. That is what an undirected mind looks like. A negative memory enters, and there is no guard to stop it. A fearful thought enters, and it sits on the throne. A doubtful whisper arrives, and suddenly it becomes law. Thoughts will rule you if you don't rule them. You are born with a throne inside you, but not everyone sits on it. Some let fear sit there. Some let failure sit there. Some let the world decide what their worth is. You must reclaim your crown. You must sit where you belong. Before fear speaks, you speak. Before doubt rises, you rise. Before negativity takes shape, you give direction. You are not reactive, you are directive. Your first words of the day must be chosen by you, not by the noise of the world. When you wake up, your first thought should not be accident, it should be intention. Say to yourself, my mind serves me, my thoughts obey me, I choose my direction. Repeat, repeat again, repeat until it becomes truth. Repetition is how soldiers are trained. Repetition is how thoughts are trained too. Command principle number 2. Emotion is fuel, not the driver. Most people live as slaves to emotion. If they feel tired, they stop. If they feel afraid, they hide. If they feel insecure, they shrink. Emotion is fuel. You can burn it and move or drown in it and freeze. A great leader uses emotion, but does not follow it blindly. Fear can be power if commanded. Pain can become growth if directed. Frustration can become fuel if harnessed. You cannot choose what emotions appear, but you can choose what emotions lead. A king feels everything but bows to nothing. Command principle number 3. Silence is strength, not weakness. There is a silence inside every powerful person. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of control. People who cannot command their thoughts must always speak, always react, always defend, always prove. Their mind is loud because it is untrained. But the one who commands does not fear silence, because silence is where the mind learns obedience. When you sit with your thoughts, you begin to realize you are separate from them. You are the observer, the watcher, the authority, not the noise. Sit alone with no distraction. Let thoughts come, but do not follow. Let fear appear, but do not kneel. Let insecurity rise, but do not answer. The mind must learn that you are the master, not the echo of old beliefs. The battle within. The greatest war you will ever fight is invisible. No army will witness it. No crowd will cheer it. No medal will honor it. But this war decides everything. It is fought when you wake up tired but choose to rise. When your old habits pull you back but you resist. When doubt tells you to stop but you push further. When fear whispers no and you roar yes. Victory in life is not one moment. It is thousands of small unseen decisions where you chose power over weakness. Every time you choose discipline, you win. Every time you choose clarity, you win. Every time you choose courage, you win. A king is not crowned once. He is crowned daily by choice. Building the unbreakable mind. To command your thoughts, you must build a mind that does not fall at the first storm. A weak mind collapses under pressure. A strong mind forges itself through pressure. Steel is not strong because it is untouched. It is strong because it survives fire. Your mind must go through fire too. Discomfort, challenge, discipline, self-control. Not to weaken you, but to shape you. A life without resistance produces softness, not strength. You must learn to seek challenge the way others seek comfort. Because comfort protects the present. Discomfort builds the future. Thought interception. The moment a negative thought appears, pause. Catch it like a thief entering your kingdom. Ask it, who sent you? Why are you here? What truth do you carry? Most negative thoughts carry no truth, only memory or fear. Once exposed, they lose power. You do not destroy negative thoughts. You disarm them. Replace, don't resist. The mind does not understand stop thinking this. It only understands replacement. If you want to remove weakness, speak strength. If you want to remove fear, speak courage. If you want to remove doubt, speak certainty. Do not think weakness. No, I am strength. This is command. Action overrides thought. The fastest way to defeat a negative thought is to move. Action silences doubt like fire silences darkness. You cannot overthink while you are performing. You cannot fear while you are advancing. When doubt arises, act. When fear speaks, move. When hesitation traps you, break forward. Power is not given, it is claimed through action. Every person hears two voices inside them. One whispers limitation. One whispers possibility. One says, stop, it's too heavy. The other says, lift, you were made for this. One says, what if you fail? The other says, what if you rise higher than ever? Most people live by the first voice because it speaks louder. But power belongs to the one who teaches the second voice to speak stronger, deeper, more consistent, more dominant. You do not silence the voice of weakness by fighting it. You silence it by commanding the voice of power to speak louder. The mind is like a battlefield of echoes. Whichever echo you feed, grows stronger. Whichever echo you repeat, becomes law. So train your inner voice like a swordsmith trains steel. With fire, pressure, repetition, and precision. The weak inner voice says, I am tired. I am afraid. I might fail. I am not enough. The commanding inner voice says, I move even if I'm tired. I walk through fear. I do not bow to it. Failure is a teacher, not a cage. I am more than enough, because I build myself daily. Your life changes when this second voice becomes your default. Part 5. Mental Fortress Training. To command thoughts, you must build a mind so strong that doubt cannot enter without permission. Not by avoiding difficulty, but by facing it until difficulty bows to you. A fortress is not built from comfort. It is built from stone, weight, time, and unwavering structure. Your mind must be built the same way. Fortress rule number 1: control input. What enters your mind becomes your army or your enemy. You can feed your mind poison, fear, gossip, comparison, excuses, or you can feed it iron, discipline, knowledge, strength, purpose. A king does not allow every traveler into his kingdom. You must not allow every thought into your mind. Reject what weakens. Welcome only what builds. Guard your gates. Control input. What enters your mind becomes your army or your enemy. You can feed your mind poison, fear, gossip, comparison, excuses, or you can feed it iron, discipline, knowledge, strength, purpose. A king does not allow every traveler into his kingdom. You must not allow every thought into your mind. Reject what weakens. Welcome only what builds. Guard your gates. Role number 2, choose your inner language. You think in the language you speak to yourself. If your inner language is broken, your strength will be broken too. Never say, I can't. I always fail. I'm unlucky. I'm nothing. These are commands, toxic ones. Replace them with, I am learning. I am growing. I am building power. I command progress. The words you speak inside shape the world you walk outside. Fortress Rule 3, no thought unchallenged. Every thought must pass through your authority. When a negative thought arises, do not accept it like truth. Challenge it. Interrogate it. Break its legs if you must. Ask it, where is your proof? What facts support this fear? Who allowed you to speak in my kingdom? The art of mental command in real life. Command of thought is not philosophy, it is practice. It is not knowledge, it is repetition. It is not theory, it is daily war. Here is how a king-minded person lives. When the alarm rings, you rise. You do not negotiate with weakness. You do not argue with comfort. You command action. When fear arrives, you step forward. You do not retreat when threatened. You do not bow when uncertain. You command courage. When the mind says stop, you say more. Because growth begins after comfort dies. Because greatness begins after resistance breaks. A king is not made of ease. A king is made of decisions that most people avoid. Where others hesitate, you advance. Where others doubt, you declare. Where others crumble, you command. You become unstoppable not when life gets easier, but when your mind becomes stronger, the level beyond mind. Identity. Thoughts shape action, yes. But the deepest power comes from identity. From who you believe you are. You act according to identity more than instruction. A smoker tries to quit cigarettes while saying, I am a smoker trying to quit. He remains chained because his identity keeps him where he was. But if he says, I am not a smoker, I am someone who chooses health, the chain begins to break. Identity is the throne from which all thoughts arise. So build an identity of power. I am disciplined. I am focused. I am unstoppable. I am sovereign over my mind. My thoughts serve me, I do not serve them. Say it not once, but daily. Carve it into the walls of your mind until even doubt fears you. Because identity is not found, it is forged. The greatest shift in a human life is not external, it is internal. People try to change their financial situation, relationships, purpose, confidence, habits, but they ignore the root. All change begins in the mind before it appears in the world. Before a person becomes rich, he must think like one. Before a warrior wins a war, he must think like one. Before a leader inspires nations, he must lead himself. Thought is the blueprint. Life is the building. The mistake most make is this. They try to change the building without changing the blueprint. You can work harder, push more, dream bigger. But if your mind still speaks limitation, your life will reflect limitation. The outside is only a mirror of the inside. To command life, command thought. To command thought, command inner voice. To command inner voice, remove permission from weakness. This is the hierarchy of power. How kings think differently. A king does not ask, what if it goes wrong? He asks, what if it becomes legendary? A weak mind sees obstacles. A strong mind sees pathways. A weak mind waits for opportunity. A strong mind creates opportunity. A weak mind escapes discomfort. A strong mind seeks discomfort to grow bigger than before. Kings think in terms of choice, action, expansion, creation. The ordinary think in terms of luck, permission, approval, chance. The king mentality is this: I do not wait for power, I generate power. The difference between average and extraordinary is not talent, it is self-command. The ability to say do and the mind obeys. The ability to say stop and fear halts. The ability to say go and doubt falls silent. When your mind listens to you unquestioningly, life stops resisting you, because life reflects the rhythm of your thinking. You are training for war, not comfort. Every morning you wake up, you enter battle. Not against the world, but against weakness, distraction, hesitation, old self. The world is never your first enemy, the mind is. If you conquer yourself, no challenge can break you. If you fail to conquer yourself, even simple days will crush you. So rise like a warrior. Let your routine be a battlefield. Cold mornings, you rise. Hard days, you push. No energy, you move anyway. No motivation, you manufacture it. Each victory is small, but power multiplies. Confidence grows. Identity transforms. Thoughts kneel to your authority. Because a king is not born powerful. He becomes powerful by winning wars no one sees. The mind strengthens through resistance. Weak thoughts appear not to break you, but to train you. Every moment you refuse weakness, you grow. Every time you act despite fear, you evolve. Every day you command thought, your power expands. Do not seek an easy mind. Seek a strong one. A strong mind bends reality. A strong mind walks into storms and leaves with lightning in its hands. A strong mind does not react, it directs. When the mind obeys you, life becomes shapeable, pliable, movable. You speak, it follows. You decide, it becomes. Thought is not your ruler. Thought is your instrument.